through your freedom.
Well. We were right. It's hit the fan. So let's dive in and talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome to the afternoon Q&A, and right now we're live on YouTube. If you're watching this, it's live right now. You want to comment on anything, you've got to hit subscribe, and then you've got to wait 30 minutes for it to pass. That way our trolls that want to stop by can't stop by and bother us. So get subscribed, stay subscribed, and you can join in the comment section. If you want to ask a question, then there's a super chat button up here and your questions will be answered. It is the Q&A. Now, again, we have left Patreon. We left the building and we're replacing it, and we'll be back, folks, very soon. Quite possibly next week with the replacement. And we've got a lot cooking, folks, a lot. We're going to have an app. I'll be working on that. Jolene will be working on stuff, and we are going to upgrade and step up above and beyond where these people are holding us back in our effort to make free speech the #1 issue here. And then bring you all the other issues, enough to make you go #2. Anyways, I love that intro, showing how they're interfering with our free speech by trying to take me off the air, and then showing Biden in all his ineptitude. And speaking of that, Joe's granddaughter, Hunter Biden's daughter, decided she was going to join in the politics. And she said if the Republican Senator Johnson would vote for gun control, she'll allow him to call Hunter and, quote, express his undying love for him. You know, these people are sick, right? It's pure stupid, folks, and the Democrats love it, right? Senator Johnson, U.S. Senator Johnson, Republican, has been one of the most outspoken critics of Hunter Biden. Did you know that? Have you ever heard of Senator Johnson? Well, you see, the mainstream media won't give him airtime, so there you have it. We're probably not aware as Americans of Senator Johnson and his criticism of Hunter and Joe and the cartel. Now, Johnson went after him on a number of topics, including, business dealings, Secret Service details. He's accused the Hunter of financially profiting from his dad's time in office. Anyways, Senator Johnson is doing for years, and has been doing for years, what the Department of Justice, the Attorney General, won't do, which is investigate Hunter Biden for his corruption while his father was vice president. Oh, by the way, that corruption was with Burisma, an energy company in Ukraine, setting it up, sitting on the board with zero experience in executive management, zero experience with energy and oil, zero, folks. Now, since he's been in the White House, well, Joe, we don't know what Hunter has been up to, right? But now Biden's granddaughter, Hunter's daughter, tries bribing Senator Johnson with this fecal taunting, right? Bring it on, Biden's. America loves how you destroyed our economy and lives. We just love you for it, right? Be sure and put your name and relation to Joe on a sandwich board and walk up and down the boulevard every day so people can throw tomatoes at you. Unbelievable, folks. Now, more unbelievability. And get your questions in, and Jolene will slam them down. Now, if Biden and Pelosi don't do anything to protect the judges, the Supreme Court judges, then they are complicit. Dana Perino said this, folks, went on Fox News and said, hey, look, we're getting threats. And that's right, folks. They had a man arrested outside Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh's home. How is that, right? How is that even remotely something that we should have to deal with as Americans. We may not like the Supreme Court, but why is it that people are being allowed to illegally, and it's a felony too, to protest and harass the Supreme Court justices at their homes? They're also, by the way, planning on blocking entrance, different various ways to get into the Supreme Court so they can go to work. They're looking at blocking that. That is interference. It's interfering, intentionally interfering, with intent to disrupt the legal system of the United States of America and the United States government in the District of Columbia, where if you trespass on public property, imagine that, you go to jail with no speedy trial, no trial by peers, no representation, get charged with bullshit crimes, and if you ever get a trial at all. We still have January 6th protesters and people who just walked on the ground of DC still being harassed, raided by the FBI and threatened, right? Now, back to the justices. Nancy Pantsy, 90 proof, she came out and she defended, right, stopping, hamstringing a bill. The Senate passed it, calling for additional security for Supreme Court justices. She's sitting on it. Folks, we had a guy arrested outside Justice Kavanaugh's home, admitted he was there to kill him. And Nancy says, quote, "The justices are protected. Nobody is in danger." Now, for herself and her colleagues in Congress, she erected a fence, topped it with what, wire, razor wire, put concrete barriers up, and armed National Guardsmen with machine guns, assault weapons, military, not military style, true military, full auto weapons to protect her disgusting, shriveled ass. Had it with this bitch, right? So rather than pass a simple piece of legislation, Nancy wants to make an argument for more radical left-wing scum so that they can harass, threaten, and plot murder schemes. Folks, Nancy is complicit in the harassment of any crimes that continue to occur, including the felony crime of trying to intimidate and threaten Supreme Court justices while bothering them, harassing them, threatening them at their own homes. It is illegal. It is a crime. And she just wants to say these words: the justices are protected. Really? Really? They have barbed wire and concrete and machine guns outside their homes? Is that what they want? Unbelievable. Now, having said that, the crowds of loud chanting assholes are very small. They're very small. I would think that if people were that upset with the Roe v. Wade decision that's coming, you would think that if they were that upset, there'd be hundreds, especially being able to get that close to a justice and their family and really intimidate them. Unbelievable. Okay. Once again, it is the Q&A. It is Thursday. It is the 8th of June, and we are rolling live. If you have a question, you have a comment, you have a statement, you want to play Tell a Lie, Tell the Truth, this is your chance to join in. Otherwise, I'm going to continue doing what I do best, and that is hammering home why we are in SHTF and how you should be prepared to deal with it. Okay, we have the algorithm checks in and is a new YouTube member. Thank you very much. Everyone who does a membership at YouTube helps fund our efforts. Everyone who does a super chat donation, right, that goes into the GTFB and stay back. It's probably going to be the get the hell away from Patreon and stay the hell away from these people. We're going to protect ourselves, folks. They kind of pushed us into taking this next step. And like the preparedmind.club, it is going to be your network to fund, your network to direct. As a member at our upcoming premium service, guess what? You'll get to be here Monday through Friday directing the show, and it doesn't cost anything extra. when you're a premium member, right? You can ask questions as a premium member in the upcoming website. It's just an incredible feeling to know that you and I, have upset these left-wing lunatics with our voices. Our voices matter, folks. Our voices matter. We have rights and they matter, and they don't like it. Well, guess what? In Canada, the Canadian Attorney General, here we have Merrick Garland, the left-wing communist stooge, as the Attorney General. In Canada, well, they have an Attorney General too, and he has announced that citizens do not have, quote, the absolute right to own private property. In other words, Canada's Attorney General has now announced that you will own nothing and like it. Why is it that massive corporations, the aristocracy, the World Economic Forum members, they can claim they're going to own everything? Corporations can own everything and anything they want, but the people cannot. This falls right in line with the Davos World Economic Forum and their agenda, telling Canadians that you do not have the absolute right to own private property. I guess that's your car, real estate, your guns, your food, your clothes, your lives. Canada, you're going to have a revolution if the people finally wake up and realize what's being done to them. A lot of people don't realize, though, that they're slaves until they actually feel the chains on their arms and legs. Most people don't feel it, folks. This is America, the United States of America, and we have rights. They're trying to trick us out of them. They're trying to convince us that emergencies give the government the authority to remove our rights. Well, if we give the government permission to use an emergency as their new authority, then the government will create emergencies and claim their emergencies in order to take our rights from us. So once again, no emergency, and this is a long-held opinion of intelligent people, no emergency gives the government the right or authority to suspend, cancel, or modify any right that the people hold as individuals, because they're inalienable. Inalienable doesn't mean, well, except in times of emergency. Inalienable means cannot be separated. Now, speaking of separation, the government is doing all it can to alienate you from your money. Do you like $5 a gallon gas? How about $10 a gallon, folks? How about $15 a gallon gas? I've been threatening that by the end of the year, we could have 10. And they could beat me on that one, folks. They could go past 10. What am I talking about, right? Well, in Europe, the European Union has taken one more step to making your energy prices go higher. This is what they told Russia. Russian oil exports, you will not be able to get insurance now. And you can't, without insurance, pull up to any dock, right? And so they're trying to punish Russia by refusing to sell them insurance. How does this help us? I mean, seriously, as if Russia and China can't create their own insurance programs, or the companies that have these massive tankers self-insure, or some other system that bypasses the idiots in charge at the European Union. Folks, they think Russia won't have a response to make this happen in their favor, to make their oil even more profitable. It is unbelievable and it's unconscionable what these assholes are doing. So if European countries have a harder time getting European ships with Russian oil into their ports, guess what? They're going to go and look elsewhere and pay more for oil they can get from Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, right? Anywhere they can get it, anywhere. And so the world is going to continue to compete for an ever shrinking, smaller piece of oil, right? So the prices are going to go up again and up and up. And guess what? There's no end to the stupid, folks. There just isn't. There's no end to the stupid. Man, I mean, where do you go with this, right? All right. Let's go to this, though. Let's do this, right? The Ukraine issue, the war in Ukraine, the attempts to get us to hate Russia, to make Russia the bad guys in this. Well, if you recall, folks, the Ukrainian official was fired by Ukraine for lying about all of the rape that the Russian soldiers were supposedly doing. Well, she got fired for that, and now she's come out, broken her silence, and admitted it, folks. She's admitted it. She lied about mass rape by Russians to get more aid and more guns and more armament and more support for her country. They had to lie about it, folks. They had to outrage people emotionally. And this is a big wow. American liberals never admit to their gross lies and their filthy agendas. I guess Ukrainians are better than Democrats. They'll lie. They'll make up shit. They'll claim the worst kind of filth about their enemies, but at least they'll admit to doing it. Just what kind of a world are we living in? It's unbelievable, folks, unbelievable. But that's not enough, right? That's not enough. I mean, I think that they're probably more intelligent over in Ukraine than the leftists we have here. And I guess maybe because of that intelligence, maybe they have a modicum of respect for themselves, and they'll admit to their faults and their lies eventually. But here in America, our liberals are too stupid to even know they're stupid, I guess, right? I reported earlier that Joy Behar, the racist, right, made the comment about, once black people get guns in this country, the gun laws will change. And I went into it, right? She is a racist. She's an idiot. She's uninformed, and now she's getting ridiculed for this. Everybody jumped all over that stupid lady for that. But folks, ridicule isn't enough. It really isn't enough. We ridicule by showing how stupid the Bidens are. Nancy Pelosi, up Chuck Schumer, any Democrat that goes on TV and opens his mouth, Eric Swallowswell, name them, AOC. We'll go after all of them because they are idiots. They're dangerous idiots. But that's not enough. It doesn't seem to be enough to stop them. Maybe they should get the Supreme Court treatment. What do you think of that? Maybe there need to be people with bullhorns outside their homes, screaming and yelling at them, demanding that they apologize, demanding that they be fired by their networks. How come when people protest outside of Fox or ABC or NBC and say, we don't like the bullshit that's going on, how come they never get fired? How come left-wing scum don't resign from office? It's a pretty damn rare thing when they resign from office. Now, we know this year, Democrats have been doing something a little different, though. They've been quitting and saying, I'm not running for re-election. That's how bad things are for them. They're not going to run for re-election because they know, folks, they know. All right, we're 20 minutes in. We're 1/3 of the way through the show, and it's the PM show. If you've got something to say, hit the super chat button, put in your question. If Jolene sees someone who is a YouTube member, let's see, there we go. The YouTube member, I'm looking at some of the comments up there. If she sees that little star or the symbol saying you're a YouTube member, she can pull your questions if you've got one. Now, let us move on if we shall, right? Ukraine. I want to finish up with these idiots. They want to ban the book War and Peace. It was written by Tolstoy. They want to ban it from being taught in schools. Why? Well, it's a little too truthful about the evil of governments. It hits a little too close to home. It talks about what? Government corruption, government abuse, And what do they have in Ukraine now? Government corruption, government abuse. It is incredible what is happening, folks. It's happening to the Ukraine people. We're seeing the accelerated, shall we say, World Economic Forum, New World Orderizing of Ukraine. It is unbelievable how quickly they're moving in Ukraine. Can't have guns, well, unless you're going to go stand in front of, I guess, the enemy and get mowed down with the gun that some American lends you, right? But no property ownership. You want to be an opposition voice to Voldemort Zelensky? Forget it. You're done. Anyways, yeah, no war and peace. A masterpiece explaining how socialism destroyed Russia, the Soviet Union, the world. Thank you. No more Tolstoy, I guess. All righty, where are we moving to next, Jolene? Oh, shoot, we got Diorce checking in with a $20 super chat donation. And he says, Stump the John. Joe Biden's Build Back Better is the less racist version of Trump's Make America Great Again. And then the other one is food and fuel prices haven't been higher since Joe Biden's illegitimate inauguration. Well, let's see. Joe Biden's Build Back Better is less racist. Yeah, Joe Biden, President Joe was on the Jimmy Kimmel late night show that he's got, continuing to make stupid comments about interracial couples in commercials. The guy's a moron. He is a racist of all time and old time. Yeah, as a matter of congressional record, Joe, the dumbass Biden, used the N-word multiple times. Apparently, you're not even allowed to say it when you reference someone else saying it anymore. I mean, crazy. But food and fuel prices haven't been higher since Joe Biden's illegitimate inauguration. That's correct. No, that's incorrect. They've gone off the charts. People are now worried, pissed off, and scared that they're not going to be able to afford to buy good, healthy food. If this continues, people won't be able to afford high quality, safe quality food. This is right in line with the World Economic Forum, New World Order, and Bill Gates's version of what's for dinner. Right? Remember that commercial? Beef. It's what's for dinner. No. What's for dinner is bugs. What's for dinner is soy meal with yeast blood vomit in it. That's right, folks. Yeast makes the ingredients simulating cow blood, and that's how they give their impossible meat its taste. Heard about that from someone who's on the inside of how that crap works. I think we had a new member that's checked in as well. That is terrific. Yes, it is the Lady Lily checks in to be a YouTube member, and the Lady Lily is an excellent, excellent lady at that. Welcome, and I'm glad you're still out there listening to the Prepared Mind. And folks, with everything going on, my excitement level over Patreon pissing us off and us just saying, we're done with you guys. We're not going to try and get another Patreon channel. We're not going to play games. We're just going to ditch them. I'm so excited. Jolene and I had a really, shall we say, productive conversation in our planning, and it is coming and coming fast. We're going to have an app. We're going to have premium again, premium membership, premium access to the broadcasts. This is going to be a big step forward for us as we just head first into this war. Now, I'm going to give you an example of a discussion topic we had that Patreon just didn't like, right? This one falls right in line with that. It's about the LGBS that's going on. Now, in Phoenix, Arizona, at the Phoenix Indian Art Museum, there was something that happened there that had nothing to do with Indian art. Instead, it was a bunch of left-wing radical jackasses, and they held the, quote, first ever native drag show. Okay, so get this, right? The drag queen lefts have now appropriated, and in a very disgusting, disrespectful, and disingenuous manner, just did this in a Native American museum with their LGBS dancing and sexualized attire. How does anything related to drag queens have anything to do with Indian art, Indian culture, Native American art, Native American culture. Wow, way to go, communists. If I held a Viking dance, a Viking anything, and tried to do it at an Indian art museum, I would think that the tribe would say, no, no, no. And what's worse and what makes this really disgusting, folks, is they had, once again, children in the audience, sexualizing human beings explicitly and showing children that this is okay, that men should dress like this and act like this. I just, it's beyond reproach. It's very, 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 as far as I'm concerned, disgusting. It just is. There's no excuse for this. There's no explanation. Now, moving along, I think we're clear to take off. Get your super chat donation in or forever hold your peace. And by the way, we've got 336 people live right now. That's more than we had yesterday and more than we had the day before, since we've come to the 4 p.m. Eastern time live on YouTube show. It's very much like the zoo. You got a question, want to ask, you support the channel, and we love it, right? This is what we do, folks. I get you information. Are you ready? Are you ready? You've heard about the 1,000% sales tax on assault weapons that's been proposed. Well, the Democrats think that they can beat the filibuster if they have a little conference committee between the House and the Senate, and they can avoid that. So Republicans are already laughing about this and saying, well, guess what? Right? A candidate for the Republican Party who's running says, tell gun stores to use Snickers bars, candy bars, to bypass this tax while it's being defeated and destroyed and knocked down in the courts. Folks, this is a Democrat trick. Use this Democrat trick to bypass the law. We know what the trick is? Yeah, it's the Snickers thing. And they're using it currently, right now, in Washington, D.C., to win the marijuana law problem they have. That's right. The solution they have is, well, you buy something and you get a gift. Well, this is what the solution for the AR-15 is. This is what the the Republican tells everyone. Simple solution. Say a particular AR costs $950. The gun store owner simply needs to sell a fun-sized Snicker bar for $950. Then they tell the customer to eat the candy bar so they can't request a refund. And then sell them the AR-15 for $1. Right? What does that do? Well, it allows them, the company, to sell the gun, the 1,000% sales tax or 1,000% gun tax. Okay, so now they sold the gun for $1,000. Right? There it is. They get their $1,000 and the customer gets a candy bar and an AR-15. Right? Now, this tactic, like I said, is being used in Washington, D.C. for people to purchase marijuana. Right? That's Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. It is still illegal to sell marijuana there. But possession of less than 2 ounces is legal for people who are 21 years old. And the D.C. cops and the lawmakers haven't figured this out. They can't legislate a solution to that. So we could now have a Snickers AR loophole. And boy, would that piss the Democrats off. Yeah, there's ways to get around these people, folks. They're going to keep trying and trying and trying. They're going to do it. They're going to try to take our rights. And they have no authority for that, folks. They have no authority at all. They don't have any government authority. They don't have individual authority. Rights are inalienable. They come from God. Okay, let us move on if we shall. This is a big deal. And this just popped up today, and I know it's going to be important because we need to think about stuff. Before I get to it, let's take on the next super chat donation. And we've got Dior's is back with 1776, one of my all-time favorite numbers. And he says, you still owe me a drink of Irish water from a live stream a few Sundays ago when you were visiting your folks. Uman owes me one for not reminding you on a follow-up live stream. I'll tell you what, Dior's, that is true. I think I owe you, buddy. Sadly, right now, the prepared bunker is devoid. I don't have any scotch here right now at the moment, believe it or not. Right, my supplies have been running low. Not that I'm drinking too much, but I guess I've been drinking too much. Bad John. I tell you what, I'll be back in the next broadcast with it. I will make that good. I will make that happen. Anyways, Dior's, I really appreciate it because I could use a drink. I really could. We're almost up to, folks, on a weekday, on a Thursday, we're almost up to 400 people live on a weekday, not Sunday Night Live, on a weekday. This is an incredible instance. You guys are taking very seriously your responsibility, your responsibility to get that internet address out there, right? I mean, we have got to stop pretending like someone else is going to do this for us. We can be outraged and pissed in our little worlds, but if we don't start talking our First Amendment, it's over. Right? Because they'll just walk right over the top of our thoughts. We need to stand up and let these people know we're serious and the game is over. No more games. It is now showtime. Now, speaking of showtime, the United Kingdom, the people of England are absolutely outraged. But over what? This is interesting. 2 British soldiers, folks, have been given death sentences by the Donetsk court, right? Donetsk is the new republic in Ukraine. Well, they're not really British soldiers. They're mercenaries. They were in Ukraine and fighting in Donetsk as mercenaries, right? Mercenaries are soldiers of fortune. They're people who get paid to go kill, right? So these British nationals, not soldiers, they weren't a member of the British military. They had been serving in the Ukrainian military, and they were captured in April, so that's a couple months ago, while they were fighting, right, in Mariupol. They appeared in a Donetsk court this week on charges of terrorism and being a mercenary. Folks, unlike American protesters, these mercs got a speedy and fair trial, according to the law, as it is known and understood in Europe, not American law, right? But unlike American protesters, right, ours, right, they're still in jail. It's incredible, folks, right? They got their day in court. They got to stand up and face the light, right? The Republic of Donetsk apparently does not take terrorism lightly, especially from terrorists that work for money, known as mercenaries, right? So attention, soldiers of fortune. This isn't a video game. It's not the United States of America. You should beware of nations that capture you because they will kill you with or without trials. And oh, wait, right? That has been known, folks, actually. Mercenaries know that and understand it. It's been known for hundreds of years, right? It's called occupational risk. If you want to kill people for money, understand you will be killed. Live by the sword, die by the sword. It's not, folks, a vanilla world out there full of bunnies and safe rooms and hugs. Right? Justice can be swift, and justice can take care of problems. It may not be the justice you want, but folks, we have that kind of justice. We have that kind of justice. Now, speaking of that, there's this topic. And for anyone who has a super chat they want to do it now or forever hold your peace, because I've got a couple of things to say here. Right? Back to Ukraine again, folks. Ukraine and the war against Russia is phase 2 of the World Economic Forum's Great Reset. Now, a general from the Ukrainian armed forces says that 2/3 of Russia's 15th Mechanized Brigade have become, well, they're unfit for duty. Right? They claim that they've killed almost 2,000, killed and injured almost 2,000 out of this one unit. So rather than talk about whether or not that's bullshit, coming again from military and a country that's been lying to us about rape and their success and what's being done with the billions of dollars we're giving them, let's just look at this a little differently as American patriots, right? Shall we? As preppers and patriots, perhaps if we had to fight a terrorist invasion in our nation, right? Let's make that the story here. If we have to face a violent organization that is coming after us in America on our soil, we're going to start off though by pointing at a little history. Let us recall that the Soviets, which was the Russian communist government, the Soviets fought for a decade in Afghanistan against ragtag militants, and Russia couldn't defeat them. That was called Russia's Vietnam. Now, today we're being told by the mainstream media and by the Ukraine military that 2/3 of Russia's 15th Mechanized Rifle Brigade, they're not fit for duty because they've killed so many of them. Let's assume that Ukraine's very best fighters, they put the hurt on Russia, similar to the way freedom fighters in Afghanistan put the hurt on, right, the Soviets. And let's see, more modernly, we had a hard time in Afghanistan dealing with the same people. Right? It's hard for a large military to take on this sort of thing. There we go. So continuing on, if our nation, the United States of America, not Washington, D.C., folks, not D.C., but our country, America. Imagine if it were invaded by a terror organization capable of attacking Americans in groups or in a city, county, or a state. Could American veterans defend our nation adequately and successfully? Can they? Right? I've got a few points to bring up, right? We've just watched and we're led to believe that Ukraine, with a hastily organized military, with mercenary conscripts coming from England, the United States, and other countries, we're supposed to believe that they were able to beat the Russians. So what about here in America? Our civilian weapons are being called military-styled assault weapons, right? And they're legal to own, by the way. There shouldn't be any negativity. There shouldn't be any fear about an AR. It is a totally legal self-defense tool. Now, so our civilians have a lot of these. Our civilian population is willing to go after and fight against a terror organization, right? Our population is largely veteran, our militia, and also well-trained, right? Well-regulated in constitutional terms. That's what well-regulated means. Well-trained, well-practiced. Our civilian population is willing, folks, to defend against a terror organization. Unlike Ukraine, folks, American patriots have the training, have the arms, the guns, have immense quantities of ammunition, along with the terrific knowledge of the geographic areas in which they would be fighting against the invading terrorist force. Now, like Ukraine, there is a military force in the country that is competent, but we are non-Nazis and will join to fight, right? The military force here in the U.S. that is non-Nazi will join in this fight with us against a militant terrorist takeover attempt and fight any, and I mean any, terror organization that would try to invade us, violate our citizens' inalienable God-given rights. Any terrorist organization or national anti-American military that came here, I don't think so, folks. I don't think they would make it, right? And taking everything stated into consideration, do you think that the type of ass beating the mainstream media is saying the Russian military has taken wouldn't be as bad and likely far worse if some other nation or terror organization tried to violate the sovereignty of the people and our Constitution? Because it is the Constitution that we, the people, live under in these United States of America. Right? In other words, if you think Ukraine is putting up a great fight over there, and I don't really, but America is a little bit of a different thing. We've been told we're free. We've been told it's our country. We've been told we have rights. We believe these things. We've been told we can have guns, and we have them, and ammunition, and boy, do we. And we've been told that you are supposed to oppose anyone who is trying to destroy your country. And there are people out there who want our country destroyed. Undeniable destruction is what they want. They're willing to fight for it, folks. They're willing to fight. The question is, are you? Opie Waddell checks in and he says, let's coin the term yarden. Yard days of grass are over. Herbs, vegetables, and fruits now. Plant your yarden. Yes, the yard turned into a garden. I think that's a wonderful idea. I see that Raimi has checked in. Excellent. Oh, that's good to see. Good to see people from all over the planet, folks. Whew. I've got more for you. We're at 4:45. We're 3/4 of the way through the show. I've got some more to talk to you about. If you want to talk, super chat away. If you're a YouTube member, we're allowing that. We're over 400 people live on a Thursday. Now, down in Florida, there is a political prisoner. Yeah, even in the state of Florida, folks. Jeremy Brown was a congressional candidate for office. He's a military veteran. And he's called out the United States government, the D.C. government, folks. He's called them out. And he said that what is going on with this January 6th is a well-orchestrated and highly produced lie. Because I think he's right? From his prison cell, he's called them out and said that the Biden regime's kangaroo committee and their nightly broadcast is a bunch of crap. Well, it is, folks. And what is going on to Jeremy Brown and the other January 6th political prisoners? This is politicized persecution, folks, by the FBI, the Department of Justice, and the Attorney General's office, and Biden and Nancy and Chuck Schumer. This is way worse than the IRS harassment that Obama committed against the Tea Party. Remember that? He used the IRS to go after political organizations. Now they're using the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, the Attorney General's office to do the same. Now, as we discussed months ago, Jeremy Brown refused to be an FBI stooge, a snitch, and a useful idiot and go to the January 6th thing and cause trouble, right? Well, he refused that. And then, folks, he released the audio proof of these conversations that he had with the Federal Bureau of Investigation back in December 2020. So they came and arrested him. They threw him in prison, and he is there still to this day. Since September 30th, folks, of 2021, Jeremy Brown, a veteran, a congressional candidate, a patriot, has been held in prison without bail on bullshit, made up, fabricated trespassing charges. He's being held in Florida, folks, in jail by the feds for trespassing. Since when does trespassing equate to eternal prison without conviction or a trial or anything else? Understand, folks, right now, you and me, being arrested in the USSA for a tiny crime can now become a gulag sentence. A gulag sentence. Are you willing to allow yourself to be arrested and disappeared into a prison? Does it matter that we know that Jeremy Brown is in a county jail in Florida? Does it matter that we know where the Washington, D.C. prison is, that they're holding all of these Americans who have done little more than trespass? And it's funny how they're provocateurs, the agent provocateurs, which Jeremy Brown didn't want to become a member of for the government, agents provocateurs that are seen getting out of Antifa-style clothes and then wearing Make America Great Again clothes. People dressed like Antifa, breaking windows and breaking in and trying to fight the police. That was the violence that was done by the so-called protesters. While Americans were saying, those aren't us, those aren't Trump supporters. It was a sham. The entire thing is a sham. And it needs to be exposed. And we need more of our elected representatives to say so. And to man up and grow a pair and stop acting like a bunch of cowardly rhinos. Unbelievable. All righty, I'm done with that topic before I blow my lid and lose my shit. We've got Tamika G checking in with a $10 super chat donation. Thank you, Tamika. And she says, pay attention to who's paying attention to you. No need to be paranoid, but make eye contact with weirdos. Make them aware. You're aware of your surroundings. This is a bit of advice that I think we should all understand and be a little careful with. For someone like me, I'm pretty large. And I have kind of a confrontational personality. And I do look at people, and I look them in the eye. And it works. They look away. I do keep an eye on weirdos, hippies, fruitcakes, people who don't seem to fit in the crowd. They're in the wrong, shall we say, restaurant or food store. They just don't look like they belong. If anyone's paying attention to me, I certainly pay attention to them. That way I don't get followed. I don't get taken unawares. I don't let people get close to me. Now, if you're a smaller person, you may have a different, shall we say, method of dealing with this. Don't look at people in the eye, right? It may invite them to come after you because you're smaller, or a woman, right? You may want to keep an eye on them out of the corner of your eye and make a couple of turns down shopping aisles, right? See if they're following you. And if they are, go to store management and tell them that you're being harassed. Someone's following you. They're paying you unwanted attention, right? Maybe they'll let you go out the back door of the store and leave. You don't want to be followed by them either. And I think, folks, this is going to become a big problem when the summer of love gets nice and peaceful the way it was in 2020. I think a lot of people are going to be harassed. I think a lot of people are going to fight back against this harassment, and there's going to be a lot of conflict. That's my concern. I'm not recommending it because I never recommend violence, but I'm recommending you defend yourself with your constitutional rights, free speech, Second Amendment, etc. And yes, this is really important, Tamika. Be aware of your surroundings. It may not be just one person. That person may have others with them that are standing about, waiting for a signal to make a move. Why are we talking like this? Why are we having this conversation? Because we all need to be prepared. We all need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense. And not just for your home. You need to have the ability to defend yourself in public. You know, it's recommended if your state has open carry or concealed carry, no license required, I recommend you do that. If your state requires a concealed weapons license, then I recommend you go get one so that you have that option. It's better to have a gun and not need it than to need one and not have it. We have all kinds of problems, folks, with people out there wanting to harass us. They want your rights to go away. They want you to apologize. They want you to take a knee to their belief systems. That we're bad, that America is bad, that our country is evil. Give me a freaking break. I don't think so. I don't think so. But they want to blame us and say we're the bad ones. Whew. The answer is, I'm sorry. I'm not apologizing to you. Yeah, I'm not. Anyways, I think we got another. There it is. Doopsie Daisy checks in with a $10 super chat donation. and asked, what are your thoughts about the U to the S being taken over? For invasion, sorry for the code words. I've had dreams about this. Love you, Johnny. Well, thank you, Doopsie Daisy. My thoughts about the U.S. being taken over, invaded. We have had issues as humans forever with invasions from without and also our own governments from within, hurting the people, subduing them, violating their rights, their trust, failing to live up to their obligations, and instead attacking the people. Communists are the worst offenders of all time, having killed in the last 100 years over 100 million of their own people. Now, Nazis did about, I don't know what, $10 million, or I'm sorry, 10 million people. It's the numbers are outrageous, folks. But you can go back further in history. The King of England, the King of France. The King of France was starving the entire nation. He didn't give a shit. They were so out of touch that Marie Antoinette, the plaything of King Louis, decided to say, let them eat cake. And cake, folks, is the crust that builds up inside of a stove from food that splatters all over the place. That's what cake is. Not delicious morsels. It's crust. That's what happened. And folks, she lost her head. It came clean off her shoulders. Same with King Louis. So in America, because of what happened with our own government, the colonial, shall we say, states in America, they were being abused by their own government. King George, who had a charge, all kings have a charge, and queens, to protect their people, not destroy them. Literally, they have a charge. That is their duty. And if they don't do it, then they can be deposed by the people. And that has happened in England, folks. They have had kings thrown off the throne. They have had regicide. King John, the little shit, way back when they had the Magna Carta signed, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, right? At sword point was forced to sign the Magna Carta, saying he would quit being an a-hole. Now, in the United States of America, these United States, our free republic, there's a saying that goes into every oath that's taken, that the person taking the oath will defend and uphold the Constitution and protect it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I am more worried as an American. I am more worried about the United States government in Washington, D.C. It gives me more worry than any state government or any local government. I believe the United States government in Washington, D.C. has violated its oath and is actually attacking the Constitution. It's evident by all the laws that they pass to hurt us, to harm us. It is an incredible injustice and disservice. It is a crime, and I think it is both an impeachable offense that they've all committed, as well as treason that they should all be tried for. And I say, give them a fair trial. Let them defend themselves. All right, let's move on. We've got Diane Muzinski, and I hope I pronounced that properly, with a $20 super chat donation. Any info about drones? Well, we've got a lot of info about drones. I don't know which drones you're specifically asking about, but what I can tell you is drones have become a major part of warfare. A major part of warfare. Understanding how drones are used is something that we, as veterans, patriots, sportsmen, Americans, we need to become familiar with them. Now, the drones are being used in warfare very actively in Ukraine. Russians are using drones to follow Ukrainian, shall we say, militants that are in the Donetsk area, right? there are Ukraine fighters who are no longer in Ukraine. They're in what is accepted as breakaway states. Russia has accepted and acknowledged the existence of these areas that said, no more Ukraine for us. We're tired of the Ukraine military committing atrocities against our people. So the Russians are using drones, and they're using them to guide missile attacks, rocket attacks, artillery attacks, etc. Now, there are also what are known as kamikaze drones that fly down, and they are armed. They're not just surveillance drones, but they are weaponized, and they take out. They're suicide drones. These are being given to the Ukrainians. The United States government is providing them. Drones are becoming part of warfare. And my opinion about drones and warfare has been that a drone operator for the person who's fighting against you on the other side deserves to have nothing less than the same punishment that anyone else on the battlefield would get, because they can, from afar, control a machine. And they're killing people. They don't know who they're facing. They're making assumptions. Oh, these are the bad guys. These are the military. I don't like it. I believe that, and again, maybe I'm just old school, but I think that if you're going to kill the enemy, you should do it by engaging them, and your life should be on the line. Now, you could say, but what about tanks, John? I know, yeah, being in a tank, it is both a benefit and a detriment. You are armored against small arms fire, but at the same time, there are anti-tank measures and countermeasures out there, so that people in tanks are also sitting ducks in a lot of ways. Now, well, what about battleships? Well, they're offshore, but there are countermeasures to battleships. Okay, we'll get to drones in PA. I'll finish with my discussion on drones and warfare. Battleships, right? They can be sunk with mines, torpedoes, etc., submarines, and then same with airplanes. Well, the guy flying the airplane, he's moving so fast they can't be killed. Well, there's anti-aircraft, ground-to-air defenses that can take them out. And so in every case, these drone operators, they're escaping, right, what everyone else faces, and that's losing their life by engaging the enemy personally. Now, on to drones in Pennsylvania. That is a topic I want to get some more information on. Why don't we do this? I'm going to dig into that more fully, and I will make it part of tomorrow morning's broadcast. I really appreciate, and I mean really appreciate, the generous donation, the GTFB and SB, they get the F back and stay back fund appreciates it. We need it because we're putting in extra overtime duty, creating the new system for premium membership and as well as standard membership. So I'm going to have Jolene send me some information. I will look into this drones in PA. I want to be, because you made such a generous donation, I want to make that part of tomorrow's broadcast. It's important. And I want to finish up with this, though, so I don't misspeak about the drones in Pennsylvania. This last little topic that I want to cover, and then we'll wrap it up, is incredibly important as well. There is video of Chuck Schumer threatening Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh, saying he will pay the price, right? Now, that was March of 2020. And Schumer made a speech outside of the Supreme Court as the justices heard a case about Louisiana abortion law. Schumer shouted a very nasty warning to Kavanaugh and Justice Gorsuch as well, and saying they would face the consequences of their awful decisions. So let's start here, right? Chuck Schumer, Mr. Upchuck, made some very threatening statements. And now a man has been arrested. He admitted to being Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh's assassin. That's what he said he was going to do. He was going to kill him. That's assassinating someone, folks, for political reasons, right? And meanwhile, the FBI raided a gubernatorial candidate's home for having walked around in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. But they're not doing anything to keep these wackos away from the justices. So here's what Schumer stated, folks, and it sounds far, far, far more threatening than anyone's January 6th statements about politically fighting for their rights and election campaigning. This is what Schumer said, quote, "I want to tell you, Gorsuch, and I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions." Will the FBI and DHS raid Senator Scumbag Schumer's home and tap his phone and emails in the hopes of finding a connection between him and the violent groups that are ideas out there like Antifa and BLM and Ginsburg sent us? Oh, they've got some fruitcake names. Will the Democrats in Congress start a blue ribbon POS committee, piece of shit committee, hearing so they can look into the violence that's been encouraged, supported, and sponsored by elected officials like 90 Proof Nancy, Maxine Waters, Chuck Schumer, and VP, the Vice President Camel Toes, right? When are they going to look into these people and what they're causing and looking for connections between them and groups? Don't hold your breath. It's not going to happen, folks. DC is a cesspool. It's not a swamp. It is a fetid, filthy, germ-filled, diseased, satanic cesspool. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I'm going to get into the PA drones, and we'll get back to that tomorrow. Thank you again. Thank you, all of you, for coming to Thursday's live YouTube presentation, question and answer. And good golly, folks, good golly, I guess is putting it lightly. Holy crap, right? They won't let up on us. They're coming after us. Chance favors the prepared mind. Get prepared. Go to the club, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Get your plan together. We're getting together a new premium site. We're going to have an app. So you can just click the app on your phone and go right to your premium page or your free page or whatever it is that we're going to have set up for you and whatever level you're willing to come in at. So I'll see you tomorrow, bright and early. For now, folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Aren't you glad you are a prepper? Godspeed, Semper Fi.